My husband wants an easy out of our marriage to be with his best friend?
Classic. The pipeline needs to be studied.
I met my mate at a Renaissance fair about 6 years ago. At the time, I was newly divorced from a very complicated man, and I was not looking for any relationship, but that's how the story goes. You meet someone when you least expect it. By the way, this comes from WearyToe7857, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, he was much bolder than me. He sat down next to me, sparked up a conversation, and the chemistry was just there. We hung out the entire weekend, and it felt nice, but I never dreamed I would see him again. Seeing as I was the older woman, I am 10 years his senior. But he had other plans, and within a year, he had me saying vows. Wow! Within a year?
Within a year.
You gotta go to the Renaissance Fair, Dakota. Everyone knows the Renaissance Fair is top 10 horniest places. I did mention the chemistry, yes. So we tied the knot 5 years ago. During that time, he has bonded well with my child, has stood up to my ex and made it clear the mental abuse stops, has provided emotionally, financially, and through safety. Literally what I was searching for. And we are happy. When we disagree, we talk about it as we do not raise voices in our home. We budget in small trips to see more than just one spot of the earth. When one of us is having a bad day, the other spoils them. We learned one another's love language and respect it. Genuinely happy. But rewind to when we met. The first person he told was his best friend, who happens to be female. She was engaged to another man at the time and freaked out, telling my mate that he needed to not be in a serious relationship and wait for her. What?
Wait for me.
Blink, blink. He told her to accept this or get out of his life. That's a good. That's good.
Hey, not me leaving immediately, huh? Not me saying, here's my little briefcase.
Bye.
Hey, here's my suitcase. I'm leaving.
Fast forward a year later, she blocks us after telling him he made the biggest mistake of his life. I cannot even describe the hurt. They were friends most their lives, and to have someone not be supportive of a mate choice, painful. Still, he made the choice to accept her cutting him off instead of going to her house to talk sense into her, and he married. Now my husband travels too much for work, and while his job provides much security, it does require him to be on the other side of the planet a lot. And while I will not flat out say what he does, his job does require uniforms.
Oh, so
he works at a Menchie's.
He works at the laboratory.
Interestingly enough, every time he leaves, this best friend is tipped off about him going. Not by me, not by him, but by my mother-in-law. What does she have against me? Simple. I'm infertile. This happened after I birthed one child. So her devious plan is to have this best friend call and check in on the status of our marriage. Ew. He had shut her down on it every time while still trying to rekindle the friendship. She would hang out online with him while he was traveling and disappear when he came home. Make no mistake, this best friend is a threat. She must be cast out. And yes, I have made my caution clear to my husband, who told me that I do not have to trust her, but I do need to trust him. So this goes on throughout our marriage until the holidays. Ready for it? I had to have surgery that required a major amount of bed rest, so I could not travel the distance to see my in-laws, and they never come to see us. My husband gets told last minute the original people who were meant to go to the other side of the world could not go, and he and his coworkers have to replace them. So he clearly wants to see his family before he leaves. Fair. So with a heavy heart, my child is sent to his biological father's for the holidays, and my husband spends the morning of Christmas with me and leaves after watching several movies and making sure I am comfortable to spend time with them for 36 hours. Unbeknownst to us, the mother-in-law had invited the best friend in my stead, and my husband walked into a tear fest of 36 hours of best friend pleading with him to change his mind about me and date her. If this is not surprising enough, she adds that she always chooses the wrong man and was recently abused and needs someone safe. She needs him. Sorry. Hold on. This is the best friend? This is the OP's partner's best friend?
Is this the same person who was like, blocked? You've made the biggest mistake of your life.
You've made the biggest mistake in your life.
Fast forward. Hi, I'm back after making the biggest mistake of my life. Can you please come back?
What? Who is this girl? Leave them alone.
Don't know about that.
Then she proceeds to confess her love to him, tells him she did not try hard enough and that she wants his babies. If I had a friend like this, I'd block them. Like actively trying to ruin your life or
Get
your
blocked.
marriage.
Get out of here.
And my mother-in-law is there telling him how he needs to be with her and not me because she's his age and they have both always loved one another. 36 hours of this.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
When he comes back from this, he is not himself. Now, due to my husband's job being dangerous, he tends to emotionally distance himself before he leaves in case he never comes home. It took me a day of asking if he's all right and offering an ear before he said the curliest thing to me. The curliest thing?
Maybe that was a misspelling of cruel.
Oh, he said the curliest thing to me.
Just someone who like really has it out for people with curly hair.
Curliest thing to me. Sorry, he said the cruelest thing to me. He tells me that he has not loved me for an entire year and that he fell out of love and was trying to fall back in, but just couldn't. He then tells me he wants his own kids and that our son is more like a brother than a son.
Wow.
I thought we were supposed to freaking trust you, dude.
Wow, dude.
You're the worst.
Don't, a lot of times we're like, clear communication is great, but you should have probably worked that one out in therapy first and then figured out how to say it right because that was bad. That was bad.
I cannot explain the emotional floor drop here. The pain was almost too much, not only for me, but my son, who has already been through something like this and trusts his stepfather more than he trusts his own dad. And then my child and I cried BS. It took days of me carefully confronting him and backing off before he finally admitted that he said all of those things so I would divorce him, and he meant none of it. He has told my kid he is and will always be his father and my kid, while angry told him he never thought otherwise. Husband also said he is now torn between me and the best friend and does not know what to do. I told him to get on a plane and think it through on his own before he blows up a happy family for a fantasy. She is furious with him because she is not a homewrecker and needs him to make the choice to leave me on his own, and it needs to be done already. Girl, what do you mean you're not a homewrecker? You're actively wrecking the home. I am simply hurt, but I am not giving up on us because two witches decided they want him to be with someone else. This is his life and his choice. He told me he hates me for not making it easy. What?
This guy.
Who is this guy?
You know what this guy is? The coolest guy in town on opposite day.
Yeah. And I told him that if he really wanted this, he had to man up and make the decision to make it all final. I was not filing for divorce. He had to. Now, I know I'm going to get slack here, but I promise you I told him I was infertile within an hour of talking to him. I reminded him that when he proposed, I lost my mind over it when we were about to get married. This is a topic that has been well discussed between us. He knows that I cannot personally have a child. Not that I am not up for raising another child. Believe me, I have offered. But he has always declined, telling me he is not interested. He does not want kids except for my kid, whom he loves deeply. And I love you guys when you listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
That's right.
Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
You can actually you can get it on YouTube as well.
There's a little bit more to this story, so we're just gonna. Now my mother-in-law is losing her mind. She has called me an a-hole for trapping her son in a loveless marriage and told me I need to stop using him. I am gainfully employed and am financially head of the household. I need to get out of his life and let him be with someone who really loves him. He does not want me anymore, so I should leave. So am I the a-hole for fighting for a loving marriage that clearly needs to be mended after outside sources tore it apart? Or should I just cut my losses and say, well, if you can't decide between me and her, I'm out. Remember, there is a kid involved here. And yes, I know my self-worth, but I also know that as a family, we smile every single day. That's worth something too, right? And there are some comments.
On a very real, not funny level, it's like what I've heard as someone who's never been married, but is familiar with the concept. Like, when you're married for a long time, it's like everything isn't just peaches and cream all the time. It's like people hit peaks and people hit valleys in the context of the relationship at different points. So it's like your husband might not be like falling into the valley and you might not be in one. But it's like that's why counseling and therapy can be a powerful resource. It's like just because someone's like, I kind of feel like we've lost the spark for a year. Like it's not necessarily like, all right, then it has to be over. It's like the reality is that if you're going to be with somebody for literally the rest of your life, that's probably going to happen.
Absolutely, but I do think that it's a little different here because OP didn't just lose, or OP's partner didn't just lose the spark. They started thinking about someone else, and then are actively considering leaving OP and almost for someone else. That's emotional cheating.
Yeah, when infidelity becomes involved, however.
Common one, he's cheating on you already. He went home and found his ex there and didn't turn around and leave. He spent 36 hours with her and came home wanting to break up, and he's not emotionally distancing himself before traveling for work because it's dangerous. He's meeting her. His work might well be dangerous and involve, travel, but guaranteed she's meeting him where he goes. He's tipping her off himself. If you insist on staying, think about the effect on your son, who now knows that his stepfather doesn't view him as a son. OP says, normally I would agree with your assumptions, but the security of where he is does not allow the average person to enter the area. You need clearance that she does not have. He went home to his partner's house to see his entire family, including his brother, so her being there, while uncomfortable, was not a reason to turn around. He has the right to talk to a friend of his, he has the right to spend time with his family, and he has the right to try his best to shut down them all when he does not like the topic of conversation. I was not there, but I am certain that it took a lot to get through his defenses. I trust him that much. And him coming home after 36 hours and being a brat that I don't recognize, yeah, I don't make rash choices like that. I dug and got the truth. But is it the truth? Is it really the truth?
But is it the truth?
Perhaps you dug too far and found a lie.
The dwarves dug too greedily and too deep.
You
know what they awoke in those mines.
Him telling me he's torn hurts like heck, but he and his brothers swear he's done nothing, just talk. And people have the right to step back and think, hey, do I want this or that for the rest of my life? Sure, but he's actively emotionally cheating on you. Girly
Pop, girl.
Girly.
I like the girls that don't do this.
Girly.
I like the girls that give hugs
Girls that get divorced.
in the back of the club. Girls who really don't like this guy.
I like girls who like hugs, girls who like pugs.
My issue is, do I want someone who stops and questions what we have out of the dang blue? It hurts, but this is a 3-person family, and I feel like the a-hole for making him make the move to legally end us. And that is the end of the freaking story, folks.
Divorce!